I think we might see that the strange times that we're living through challenge even the words Jesus gives us in the Bible, as we take a look at a couple of stories from the Bible. We find the first of our stories, another favourite of mine, in the first 11 verses of John chapter 2. In my Bible, this is headed The Wedding at Cana, but I know it better as the place where Jesus turns water into wine. This tells us of Jesus' first recorded miracle, which makes it a memorable one. He was invited to a wedding in the town of Cana in Galilee, along with his disciples. However, as we read in verse 3, the wine ran out. This was undoubtedly a catastrophe of massive proportion, having much more significance than it would have even today. In Jesus' day, wedding celebrations often lasted for several days, even as long as a week. And one thing for sure is that in today's climate, a mass gathering of this nature would now be broken up and somebody would be fined big time. But in a time when drinking water was scarce and unreliable, wine was essential. For the wine to run out would be a massive embarrassment for the family, a failure that would forever mark the couple and their wedding. So Jesus' mother appeals to her son for help. And I guess you know what happened. He invites the servants to fill the 6 stone jars filled to the brim with water, and then draw some out and bring it to the master of the feast. So they took the water to the master, and when he tasted it, the water had become wine, and the finest wine at that. My Bible says that each jar held about 100 litres. So 6 jars filled to the brim equates to about 800 bottles of wine. Wow, that is a lot of wine. With this in mind, I'll tell you one thing. Jesus is the man you would want right at the top of your wedding guest list, don't you think? Other than that, there are a couple of lessons we can learn from this miracle. First, God won't provide all that you ask for, but God can and will miraculously provide all of your needs. Jesus can provide all we need. The key is to ask according to his will and through Christ Jesus. And second, believe in the messenger, not just the message. The purpose of this miracle is made clear in John 2 verse 11. It says this: "So in Cana of Galilee, Jesus did his first miracle. There he showed his glory, and his followers believed in him." The goal was to make people believe in Jesus first and foremost before anything else. So when God causes miracles, he doesn't want us just to believe in the miracles and the signs and the wonders. He wants us to believe in him and to cause others to believe in him. The point is not the message, but the messenger. This pandemic is forcing couples to make very difficult and unfortunate choices. Couples can still get married, but with very few people in attendance. Many have postponed their events for months or even longer. And as I say this, I think of Beth and Dan, who we know and love very much. As many of you will know, they had plans for their weddings to be in May of this year, but were forced to postpone it and are now planning their wedding for the 21st of December with a total of just 15 people in attendance. A far cry from the wedding in Cana that ran out of wine and required Jesus to create a second delivery of 800 bottles of wine. I ask you to hold Beth and Dan and their families in your prayers as they prepare for their special day in these ever-changing times. But whether you are planning a wedding in the coming weeks or not, your life is undoubtedly being disrupted by the pandemic in an unplanned and challenging ways. It's hard. We know that some who get the virus are dying. We know that not everyone is always healed, that many are losing their jobs and struggling with what is happening. But we also know that God is loving, kind, and able to give us all we need. And with that knowledge, we can move beyond fear and anxiety and live out our love of God. Now is the time to step up and trust him like we've never trusted before. Crisis forces change. Let's use this virus crisis to become more like Jesus and grow closer to God. It's time to be church rather than do church. It's now time to find our second song. Rend Collective are bringing us Your Name in Power.